While I'm still mourning the loss of Superior Extra 400, it isn't all gloom and doom in the world of film photography. Actually, things are looking up. There are two new film stocks on the horizon, and I'm really excited about these two. So in this video, I'm going to talk about these two new black and white film stocks that are on the way. The first of these two new film options comes from Bohemia. And if you haven't already heard of them, FOMA is a historical film manufacturing company getting their start with glass plates all the way back in 1919. And for much of their history, they've been designing and manufacturing high-quality black and white film stocks, a lot of times with scientific applications. And this new film stock, staying true to form, is also a black and white film. Back in 2023, they released Ortho 400 in 120 format, and everybody was really excited to see a new 120 option. So that obviously begged the question, where's the 35mm option? Well, now we're happy to report that that's on the way. So what can we expect from Ortho 400? Well, first of all, it's orthochromatic. Orthochromatic film is simply made with silver halide crystals, which are naturally blue sensitive. First produced in 1873, early film photos and movies used orthochromatic film, which is why skies in early photographs are almost always white. Being blue, they overexposed easily. Something else that's important to point out, another quirk of orthochromatic film, is it doesn't really see red. So anything red in your images is gonna show up a darker shade of black or gray, right? Let's take a look at a few of the details of this film stock, and a lot of this information comes directly from FOMA's data sheet. First of all, it's ISO 400, reversible process compatible, it has a peak wavelength of 550 nanometers, there's no anti-halation layer, and the film is on a polyester base. And here's what FOMA had to say about Ortho 400. FOMA Ortho 400 is a special orthochromatically sensitized black and white negative film. It's characterized by good resolving power and contour sharpness, fine grain and high maximum density of the silver image. Its high optical sensitivity enables it to take photographs even in adverse light conditions and using shorter exposure times. And it's also probably important to point out that although this film is likely to be plenty sharp, I mean, we can see some of the image samples already, this film isn't using any advanced grain technology like Kodak's T-grain technology or Fuji's equivalent. It's using a traditional grain structure, so that is going to limit sharpness a little bit. A side benefit of using orthochromatic film is you can get the traditional darkroom feel where you have a safety light. FOMA says that it's possible to handle the film FOMA Ortho 400 for a short time under the indirect safe lighting with the wavelength of 585 nanometers or higher. The corresponding color of the protective lighting must be orange. And they're also careful to warn that any other color will expose the film. And let's take a look at some of the sample images from Ortho 400. You can see this is a really good looking film stock. Obviously it's black and white, really good contrast, and at least to my eye, there's plenty of resolution to be had here. All in all, this is an excellent option for those of you guys out there who shoot a lot of black and white film. It's great to have another option on the market, and it's more competition, perhaps lead prices down, and that's better for everybody. And with another film stock on the market, we're one step further away from extinction. So that's awesome. And that's not all the good news though. In this video, we've also got another new film stock to talk about, and that's Lucky Film SHD 400. Once again, this is another black and white film stock, and I actually found this announcement on Reflex Film's Instagram page. The post said this: Lucky Film is re-releasing its SHD 400 black and white film and may return to color film production in the future. But I made a whole video talking about Lucky getting back in the color film production game, so we're not going to talk too much about that here. So the basic takeaway of the post is that Lucky Film, a Chinese company, is returning to the film production game. And the first film to come to market from Lucky is that SHD 400 black and white film. And in contrast to the FOMA film we just talked about, this film is actually a panchromatic film, so it's sensitive to all wavelengths of light. So what that means basically is you're not going to get a lot of those weird effects. Your reds are not going to be rendered really dark black, and your skies are likely to not be blown out. But a limitation of the film, unlike Ortho 400, you're not going to be able to develop the film under a safety light and be able to see what you're doing in your lab. The original SHD 400 was a film that was announced by Lucky back in 2000, and it was actually discontinued in 2013 after digital photography had thoroughly stomped a mud hole and walked it dry with film photography for the past decade. So let's talk about some of the specifications of that SHD 400 and look at some samples. This is what the listing had to say. Freshly made by the time-honored Chinese brand Lucky Film. The format's 35mm black and white negative. The film is ISO 400 DX coded, and they do recommend shooting the film at ISO 200 to obtain the best result, no push or pull needed. 36 exposures, D76 process for development. And take a look at some of these samples. I think a lot of these sample images look really good. Again, you've got a nice contrasty look here, really sharp images. All in all, I think these images look great, and it's another welcome addition to the black and white film space. Like I said previously, we've been talking about Ortho 400. More options, more competition, lower prices for you and me. So the fact that we've got two new black and white film stocks, 400 speed, really versatile, good-looking film stocks. In all likelihood, these are going to be relatively affordable options. I mentioned briefly in the discussion of Lucky SHD 400, Lucky Film's a Chinese company, and historically, Lucky's films were pretty affordable. And you can already see the listings online that this film is going for $6, $7, $8 a roll. So the early returns are this is going to be a reasonably priced option. And I know some of you guys are going to be in the comments saying $8 is not reasonable. Well, these days, kind of it is. Two new film stocks, really exciting. Always happy to get more options. But let me know in the comments, are you guys going to be picking up either of these film stocks? I know I'm going to try to snag a roll or two of each and then try shooting them. And if you're excited about the prospect of a new manufacturer, Lucky Film, getting back in the game, take a look at this video where I talk about their likelihood of making new color film this year. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.